About balancing equations, and we're starting off with the written equation, and like other chapters you have to write out the molecular equation for each problem. So we're starting out with dinitrogen trioxide plus water yields nitrous acid. So first, these are the reactants of the equation. Dinitrogen trioxide plus water are the reactants of the equation, and when added together in a reaction you get nitrous acid. Now first what you have to do is write out the equation for it. So like in previous chapters we know that di and tri are both prefixes, and dinitrogen means two nitrogen atoms. So you do N2O3 and then plus water, which is H2O, and that's your products, and then the arrow represents pointing towards the products, which are nitrous acid, which is HNO2. Okay, so now you have your unbalanced molecular equation, and if you can read that, this is your unbalanced molecular equation. So now you have to balance the equation. So first you take note of how many of each atom there are in the reactant side and how many are in the product side. And you want the number of atoms in the reactants and the products to be the same. So you look here and you see that there are 2 nitrogen in the reactants, but there's only 1 in the products. So what you're going to do is you put a 2 here, because the 2 multiplies throughout the whole compound, and so now there are 2 hydrogens, 2 nitrogens, and 4 oxygens in the products. And since you put a 2 over here, now you have to look and count and see. So now you have 2 nitrogen, 2 nitrogen. You have 3 oxygen over here plus this oxygen, which is 4 oxygens, and you have 4 oxygen over here, which is good, and you have 2 hydrogen and 2 hydrogen. So this means this is a balanced equation. So then you must write the ratio of coefficients, which is just the number of in front of each molecule. So there's nothing in front of here, so that's automatically a 1. So you do 1 dot dot, say represent a ratio, 1 and 1, and since there's a 2 in here in front of this molecule, then you're going to put a 2. And that's your ratio of coefficients. And then you add those together to get the sum of coefficients, which is going to be a 4, which is the sum of all the coefficients. So now we did that, we're moving on to the second one. On our next equation, we have the written equation says barium peroxide plus water yields barium hydroxide plus elemental oxygen. And one thing you want to note in this chapter, you want to memorize all the diatomic molecules so that you can know, because each diatomic is going to have 2 of that atom, so, and it doesn't have a charge, so you want to memorize those. And first you write the reactants, which is barium peroxide, so that is BaO2 O2 plus H2O, which is water, 2O, and then you draw a line for your products. It's basically like in previous chapters, you're just taking from the written form and taking into account all the charges of each atom, and then products, barium hydroxide, which is Ba. And since barium has a charge of 2, you're going to need 2 hydroxides. And then plus elemental oxygen, which is the same thing as oxygen gas, is O2. Okay, so now you have your unbalanced molecular equation again, and you're going to need to take into account how many of each atom are on the reactant side and how many are on the product side. And you want to make sure that you have an equal number on both sides in the equation. So we look and we see barium, there's one of those, and oxygen, you have 2 plus this one would be 3, and here you have 2, but then you have 4 right there because of the 2 is separated for the H and O, so it's dispensed throughout it, so it's 2 hydrogen and 2 oxygen. So you know you have 4 over here, and you have 2, and you only have 3 over here. So you're going to need to put something somewhere to get this to equal out. So first, I'd place reaction, let's place a 2 here. And if we place a 2 here, that's going to get us 2 bariums, 4 oxygen, plus this one equals 5, and then we only have 1 barium over here, and then we have 4 over here. So we're going to need something else to balance this equation. So since we have 2 barium now over here, we're going to need to put a 2 on the product side to get the barium to equal out. So you're going to put a 2 in front of this molecule. So now we have 2 barium over here, 2 barium over here, 4 oxygen plus this one is 5, and then the 2 goes throughout here. So you have 4 now oxygen, 4 hydrogen plus this one. You have 6 oxygen over here, 4 oxygen plus that one is 5. So now we still have an uneven number of oxygen. So what we're going to do is place a 2 in front of here. And so that's going to give us 2 dispense right here. It's going to give us 4 oxygen, and then 2 goes out to here. It's going to give us 2 oxygen. Those together make 6, and we also have 6 over here. And so now our equation should be balanced, but you want to make sure and double check you have equal number on both sides. So you have 2 barium, 2 barium, 6 oxygen, 6 oxygen, and let's see here, we have 4 hydrogen and 4 hydrogen. So this is now a balanced equation.